Close your eyes. Inhale. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, welcome back. And we have understood the basis of Bhagavad Gita in the morning, right? As I told you, there are 700 shlokas, verses, and 18 chapters. So, from the point of view of content, there's a lot to understand, there's a lot to study, and there's a lot to practice. But let this not overwhelm you, because Bhagavad Gita is a compendium of many techniques that can be executed at different levels of your spiritual life. This is something that happens in modern yoga, that once you have a book or a scripture, you want to do everything that the scripture says today. This happens a lot when you read Hatha Yoga scriptures like Hatha Pradipika or Gherand Samhita. It's a manual of contents, and you don't have to practice everything written in the manual today. Please understand. In earlier times, what used to happen is there was a teacher, and the teacher would administer the techniques according to the ability or maturity of the student. So it was okay. You did not study these things out of books. Even if you studied these things out of books, there was a teacher who told you what to do, what not to do, if you're ready for it, if you're not ready for it, and that was normal. Nowadays what happens? We study yoga out of books, ideal philosophies and stuff like that. So we don't know what I should do when. Isn't it? That's what happens. So what happens? We want to do everything, especially all the postures, all the pranayams, all the meditations. It's not like that. And that's why I'm telling you again, as you mature in your yogic practice, your sadhana will become more and more narrow and narrow and narrow. If you are on the path of yoga for last 10, 15 years and you're still doing those 10 hours, 15 hours of 100 different techniques, then you need to start refining. Please try to understand what I'm saying. You start off with many techniques, but a time comes when the techniques, you find those techniques that really, really take you forward, and you stick to those techniques. This is how you mature. Now, many scriptures like Bhagavad Gita or any other scripture are compendiums of techniques. Compendium means collection of techniques. So even though Krishna has spoken about Bhakti Yoga in 12th chapter, Karma Yoga in 3rd and 5th chapter, say Jnana Yoga in some other chapter, say 6th chapter, they are different techniques that you have to execute slowly, slowly as you progress through life. Is this clear? So tomorrow, why am I telling you this? Is because tomorrow when you start your own study of Bhagavad Gita, I don't want you to get confused. Because if you read Bhagavad Gita, it might confuse you a little bit, because in 2nd chapter he says this, and the 3rd chapter he says completely different. In 12th chapter he said, forget everything, just do bhakti. It's maturity, maturity, maturity. As a yogi, as a modern yogi, maybe if you are not steady in the body, you have to start with many asanas. So maybe first 5-6 years, depending on your body and depending on your discipline, your sadhana might be comprising more of asana and pranayama. Then once your body comes in a little more grab, then what you do, slowly the techniques become subtler and subtler and subtler. Whatever you're doing, see to it that your sadhana takes you from outside to inside. External practices to internal peace and calm. This is the maturity of a sadhaka. This is the maturity of a student in yoga. If for last 30 years, 40 years you are still at the level of the physicality and not finding benefits of mental peace, mental calm, a sense of surety within, faith, empowerment, then you need to re-look at your own practice. Is this understood? It's like for example, like any other field. You start a business. You start a new business, the owner has to be there all the time. Right? You start a cafe, you start a restaurant. First 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, you have to be there on the floor. Then once you find your trusted people, you delegate. Then you can sit at home and just call, what's happening? How much is the sale? Is everything okay? You need me to bring something? No. Why? Because you have done your basic fundamental work. After that, just management. Same with our sadhana. Once you work hard on the grounding, the stability of your sadhana, a time comes when the sadhana will hold you. You don't have to hold the sadhana. Remember last retreat, last year I gave you a beautiful example.
About the cat?
Does anybody remember? Markata Marjara Nyaya it is called. The cat and the monkey. The babies of cat and monkey. Anyone remembers?
Yeah.
Yes. So what was it? That when you start off in a sadhana, you are like a monkey child of a monkey. So if you have seen a monkey in the wild, the little one holds the mother. Mother is independent. The little one is clinging to the mother. And if the little one loses the grip, the little one something will happen to the little one. So it is the little one's responsibility to hold the mother. But then a time comes when it turns into a cat. Have you seen a cat move her kitten? The kitten doesn't have to do anything. The kitten has to just hang. And the cat will hold the kitten safely in her mouth and put her from places to places. Same way, in our sadhana, in life of a yogi, initially it is your responsibility to hold on to your practice. A time will come when the practice becomes such a part of your life that it doesn't become a chore, it's not a struggle. You just do it effortlessly. Like for example now, we have been brushing our teeth for such a long time, so many years, that if you don't brush your teeth in the morning, you don't feel good. You feel yucky, you feel like somebody can, whatever, smell last night's wine from your mouth or whatever, It just becomes such a habit. But when you are a child, some children don't like to brush their teeth. They will do anything to not brush their teeth. Why? Because it has not become a habit yet. Same. Discipline or sadhana or abhyasa, as Patanjali and Krishna calls it, is all about disciplining yourself. Yes?
A question about faith.
Yeah?
You mentioned earlier that in order for you to get to that point, you have faith in the process.
Correct.
As a teacher, how do I convince people to have faith? People come with no faith.
Yeah, people may not come to you out of faith in the process, but if the people are coming to you, that means they have faith in you. Let them start with that. So, there are 3 places in which you can have your faith built in. Faith in the teacher, the guru, faith in the process itself, and faith in yourself. Whichever you want to start with, you start with. Somebody will say, oh, I don't know what this yoga is. I have never done it, so I don't know. Teacher, oh, he's a new teacher, I don't know. So do you at least trust yourself? Yes, I have faith in myself, I will stick to it. Great, start with that. We are in the business of faith, remember that. Just like a doctor. It's very, 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 very similar what we do to a doctor. When you go to a doctor to get healed, you go with faith in the doctor. Doctor is going to heal me. Is clear? So, now quick revision. What all have we studied? I know it's extensive, but quick. Main points. Yesterday, last night, we understood a very important point about Tyaga. Now I want Sanskrit terms.
Let go.
Let go is not Sanskrit.
You said
Tyaga. Not Tyaga. Tyaga. Don't make it yoga. Tyaga.
the tomato sauce or the cream sauce?
Tyaga. What is Tyaga then?
Letting go.
So letting go what? Everything? Blanket letting go? Okay, we will understand this Tyaga. Tyaga will make more sense after I finish this lecture. But then somebody asked us, how do we do it? Yeah, Linda asked us, how do we do it? So how do we do it? What we do? Abhyasa and Vairagya. So this is constant anywhere. No yoga book will tell you don't do your practice, forget it. Neither will any yoga book will say just do your practice, forget Vairagya. No. Abhyasa and Vairagya, practice and detachment are 2 wings on which you will soar to heights of your own self-mastery. One wing will only make you fall.
Turn around.
Yeah, turn round and round. Yes. So you need good strength in both the wings to fly higher and higher. Your abhyasa needs to be steady and your vairagya needs to be clear. Is this understood? So just doing your practice is not enough. You will also need to, for Vairagya you need what before Vairagya? Viveka. Fantastic, thank you. And what is Viveka? Yeah, the discernment. To know. Because life is full of duality. Duality means what? Life will never present anything to you in one single way. Life is a loving mother. She always gives us many choices. But we are not clear. And because we are not clear, we get confused. So is the mother wrong?
No.
Remember, the universal mother is not wrong when she, out of loving compassion, gives you many options. Don't blame the world, don't blame the nature, don't blame your life. The Prakriti, the universal mother, is just providing you a buffet of techniques, a buffet of choices. If you are clear, you will be able to perfectly exercise the choice. For example, you don't drink alcohol and you go to a party where they are serving alcohol. You just stick to fruit juice. Right? You don't drink alcohol. You are clear about it. You are very sure about it that you don't want to drink alcohol. You go to a party, you say, just give me orange juice and that's it. You are fine. And even though your friends say, come on, come. No, thank you. I will celebrate with this orange juice. But that is your surety. But when you are not sure, have you stopped alcohol or not? There's that phase. So then you go to a party, you say, no, I'm not going to drink. And then a little pressure from the host, come on, drink a little, okay. Life is like that. When you're sure, when you're clear, you exercise the choice. That brings us to the topic of dharma. And the definition of dharma that I gave you was personal integrity. Now, personal integrity will come only when you know yourself, isn't it? Can someone else tell you your personal integrity?
No.
Why not?
Because it's personal.
Of course, because it's personal. But remember, please, there's a reason why I asked you this. The reason I asked you this was, how many times you have allowed people to tell you if you are looking good, if the hair is good, if the choices you have made is good. We are dictated by many people. Opinions. What will people think of me? Do I look good in this dress? Is this haircut nice? We are so used to getting a feedback about every decision from others. The insurance company has to tell us how much value we have. If you call an insurance agent, you say, I want to have life insurance. You say, $100,000. The insurance man will say, only that much? Your life is only $100,000? And then you're like, maybe my life is worth more. How much? So he says, $500,000. Say, yes, my life is worth more. Buy me a policy of $500,000. You don't know what you're worth. In yoga, what happens? Many times it happens with yoga teachers. They don't know how much they should charge for their classes. In any profession, when you are not sure about what is it that you're offering, you will always be unsure about what is it that you have to charge. This is a very, very big question mark in our personal integrity. What is the worth of my thought, my ideas, my service? Very, very important. So unless and until you have that internal clarity, you will not have external surety in anything in life. In relation, you are single and some random person tells you, oh, you're so beautiful. Immediately you fall in love with that person. Oh, he said, I'm beautiful. Maybe he likes me. You already married with him, had 2 children in your head. This was Arjuna's issue. Dharma samudha cheta means my mind is completely confused about my dharma. What do I stand for? What am I doing here? What should I be doing? He is confused about all that. And based on this, I gave you an assignment for 2018. Right? What was the assignment for 2018? Create personal integrity. Use whatever method. You join some self-development course or whatever, I don't care. But try, by the end of this year, you should know what you stand for. You should have such firm belief in yourself, good or bad, doesn't matter. We all have good aspects and limiting aspects. You should know what you stand for. Only when you have that inner surety, as much as possible. It is impossible to be 100% sure of anything in life. If you want to be 100% sure of anything in life, I will call you obsessive. It's a OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. You want everything to be perfect, but the wanting everything to be perfect comes from deep sense of insecurity. So we are not looking at that. What we are looking at, what I stand for. Is this clear? What else did we discuss? Do you realize once you have personal integrity, it's easy for you to practice vairagya? How?
Because you understand better what is needed, what is not needed.
Absolutely. When you know what you stand for, when you have surety about yourself, you know what you need, what's good for you, you know what's not good for you. So choice becomes easier. Exercising choice becomes easier. So if you realize that you are a person for whom every decision making is a big stress. There are many people, a small decision, what to wear tonight for the party. Such a big stress. Oof. Why it's such a big stress? Because such people have too many clothes. Yeah, because of the same unsurety, they have ended up with a wardrobe full of clothes, or life, or decisions, where to live, who to marry, to eat chocolate or not. Chocolate always yes. Okay, fine. Okay, let's not discuss that. The truth. You see how vast the scope of Bhagavad Gita is. We are still on the second chapter. I'm not going to do all the chapters, okay? But it's a treasure. Bhagavad Gita is a treasure. There's always a little Bhagavad Gita in my bag, and I open it, read one or two verses, and I'm like, My Bhagavad Gita, which is in my bag, is now so damaged that I have ordered one more copy. It travels with me everywhere. Not as a religious book, as a life guidance. Gandhi used to say that. Gandhi, I remember Mahatma Gandhi, it's a very famous statement of Mahatma Gandhi. And he says, whenever I'm confused or I don't know what to do, I just open the Bhagavad Gita, and the random verse that comes up is always speaks to me, gives me the right choice. So why I'm just giving you a nice trailer, I'm just exciting you, and then you start off your study of Bhagavad Gita. It's beautiful. Okay? What else did we see? Is this clear? Tyaga is understood. We need to work on the Tyaga aspect. Any questions till here? I will take one question only right now. Yes?
Tyaga and Vairagya.
Same. You look at it from their action point of view. Tyaga means letting go. Vairagya means letting go. Pratyahara would also come under the umbrella of Vairagya. What do you do in Pratyahara? You step back. You detach from the senses and pull your mind inward. That's all. It all comes under this. And somewhere or other, all ancient wisdom techniques will ask you to pull your mind away from sensory stimulation and bring the mind inward. Divinity is within you. True self is within you. It's not out there in some shop that you can buy. Clear? Shall we proceed? Okay. So, why we selected this topic? Balance between practicality and spirituality.
Why was it?
That I know why I selected, but then... But as he said before our lunch, that what is a spiritual? Because spirituality is such a used and abused term nowadays. Everything is spiritual. So for me, I will tell you my definition of spirituality. For me, my definition of spirituality, as I told you before, is where your self-transformation, self-realization becomes your number one priority. It's a spiritual life. Where everything you do builds up towards your self-realization. This is a very important aspect of Bhagavad Gita. As I told you, Bhagavad Gita is not a scripture for the monks. It was easy for the monks maybe to leave the society, go live in a monastery, study. Wow, nice. Nothing to deal with. But Bhagavad Gita has domesticated the spirituality. It's the first time that the wisdom of Upanishad was freely given to all without any layer of alienation. Bhagavad Gita is for all of us who are living a regular life, who have family, who go out, do their job, get some money, struggle with finances, struggle with relations. Bhagavad Gita is for us common people. It is not some supra consciousness wisdom that you read a spiritual book and say, wow, must be amazing, and keep it aside.
So every child studies it in India? I mean,
No.
study in school?
Should, but no, they don't. But there are many books, Bhagavad Gita for children, and if I am making this simple, they make it even more simple, and it's so beautiful. Like this, understanding yourself. Every year you can have little modules of Bhagavad Gita to make the child understand themselves. So, you understood my definition of spirituality? For me, spirituality and practicality are not separate. They are woven into each other. Like right now, we are all sitting here. We are all sitting here as different individuals, from perhaps different backgrounds. We stay in different places. So if you look at the whole hall, you will see a lot of divisions, right? Male, female, old, young, yoga teacher, non-yoga teacher, isn't it? But if I change the perspective, I see everybody as yoga students. So it all depends on how my perspective is. If I want, I can look at all of you as separate entities, completely different, and divide all of you. Or I can look at all of you as spiritual seekers sitting here to understand themselves. This is how every time any perspective can be looked at in two ways. Like when you take a globe, when you take our globe, you can see one water body across the earth, or you can see Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean. You understand what I'm saying? Who gave the names of these oceans? Humans, for navigation. The water doesn't have Pacific Ocean written on it. It's one single unit, 70% of Earth. One water body it is. We divided it. The reason I am saying this is the world is getting more and more broken. No, the time of globalization is over. World was getting globalized in the 90s and the decade after. Now it's getting sectionized. If you are into geopolitics, you will know what I'm saying. Globalization was late 80s, 90s. Everybody was coming together. Companies were going here and there. Now it's more difficult. And in this time, we have to hold our integrity as yogis. And as I told you, Krishna says that, I am that single divine which exists in heart of every being. Krishna says heart, not mind. Why? Because heart unites, mind divides.
It's like spirituality and religion.
Exactly. Like love and marriage. Every love doesn't have to become marriage or even relationship. Once I had one student, she had some difficulties, and when I gave her this sentence, it was very liberating. Every love doesn't have to become a relationship. Because, you look at it. Loving is freedom. I'm not saying relationship is not freedom. But when you love somebody, there's no questioning. Then when you decide, okay, now we have to go through a relationship or in a relationship, what happens? It's like business talks. Sit on the table, decide. Nothing against that. I'm not saying no. But it's the zones are different.
Fear kicks in.
Yeah, because it's a zone of mind. Anything, relationship or a business contract, it's all zone of mind. If you want to freely give somebody something, go. So don't look at spirituality as something that you do only when you are on the yoga mat. Don't think, and it happens a lot when I meet many yogis, they say, I have not done my practice for last 1 week, I don't feel spiritual enough. That's a very narrow way of looking at yoga. I'm not saying miss your practice, but sometimes you may means you may happen to miss your practice because of some circumstances. Like I never miss my meditations, but when I travel to Canada, my 1 day is lost. I don't know where. It just goes away. Like, what happened? Or when I come back from Canada, it's like, I sit there and at 3rd of October and I land in India on 5th of October. I'm like, where's my 4th of October? Hey! And then I miss my practice. So, don't let that happen. The yoga that we are discussing as Moksha Shastra is broad. Every hour, every minute, you are a yogi. And that's why I'm going to give you 2 definitions right now. Bhoga and yoga. Bhoga and yoga.
With a B.
Bhoga is B-H-O-G-A. Bhoga. O-G-A. And yoga. What is bhoga and yoga? Bhoga means mere experiencing. Bhoga means only experiencing. Just taking experience after experience after experience after experience. You will understand when I will tell you what yoga is. And what is yoga? Yoga is experiencing and applying those experiences to understand yourself. to take experience and to apply in your life to grow.
Different intention.
To learn. It's a learning
To learn, sure.
To develop.
To develop yourself. So what does it mean? Who is a bhogi? A bhogi is somebody who lives blindly, consumeristic, without applying any experience of life towards self-growth.
Like hedonism.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to be like extremely hedonistic like Caligula, but just living without applying. Oh, this thing happened in my last relationship. Now what? I have another relationship. Yeah. What will a yogi do? A yogi will okay, I came out of this relationship. Now I need to take some time to process. Exactly what Krishna told Arjuna. What did Krishna tell Arjuna? To reflect and do what he feels is right. 1863. Same way, what will a yogi do? A yogi will experience life, of course, because what else to do? Yogi does not escape from life. Yogi will consciously experience life and then find out how can I use this experience to liberate myself. This is what a yogi is. Not somebody who is lean, not somebody who has beard, not somebody who goes to India every 6 months. A yogi is somebody who applies his or her life experiences towards self-growth. That's a broad definition of being a yogi, as opposed to a bhogi. What does a bhogi do? Bhogi will just blindly keep experiencing without processing the experience. Is this clear? So you don't want to be a bhogi, and nobody is bhogi here, otherwise you would not have come here. Simple. If you were a bhogi, you would not be sitting here. Yeah. For a bhogi, this is waste of time. The reason I am telling you this is, don't be negative with yourself if 1 or 2 days you miss your sadhana. Just take it in the stride. Try as much as possible to do the sadhana without fail, but sometimes life can be a little difficult. You might skip 1 or 2 days because of some circumstances, but remember, the internal aspects of yoga you will never lose. Being conscious, being aware of your body, being aware of your actions, clarity, all this you cannot say, I was very clear about my life for last 10 months. Now, 2 months, I want to break from clarity. You cannot say that.
You cannot go back.
Cannot go. Cannot. And that is why in Bhagavad Gita it is said that if you have been practicing yoga in this life, you must have practiced yoga in your past life. Means what? And I can assure you, it might sound like a super cosmic statement, but I can assure you, the sincerity with which you guys are sitting here is because you have been practicing yoga in many of your past lives. And I am not saying this to make you feel good. In the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains to Arjuna. Arjuna is a warrior. Okay? He is born warrior. And warrior means what? He is very goal-oriented. Goal-oriented. Arjuna is very goal-oriented because he is an archer. He doesn't want to miss his goal. So, such a beautiful statement. In the 3rd chapter, Arjuna asks Krishna, hey, what if I don't realize myself in this life? What will happen? So beautiful. So Krishna tells Arjuna, You try your best, but if you don't realize yourself in this life, next lifetime, you will be put into circumstances in which you will continue from where you left in your last life. That is so beautiful for me. That means what is not finished? Never.
That's what,
What's that?
in Hebrew, the word that we say in English, sin, has a totally different meaning.
Yeah.
The word chet is the archer who misses
Misses the mark.
the mark.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it tries again. There is nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely. Yes.
I have a question. Many times I feel that this, concept of like endless time that yoga brings with it, an endless process, something that is not limited in 1 year, in one lifetime, is consisted also on maybe on culture and some kind of belief. So I'm curious to know how would you talk about it with people that don't believe in previous or next.
Then they better do what they have only one life.
Yeah, of course, but still, this sensation that specifically this sensation that you're talking about, that Martina has, life is so short, and I really want to, but if I don't, manage, because people do fall there,
Yeah, I understand, but I would suggest if somebody does not have some open mind towards and looking at this from the transmigration point of view of next lifetime and all, don't talk about it. You are not there to stand and say, no. Then you just tell them that you will improve.
You can. Yes.
Yeah, in 10 years you will improve, in 20 years you will improve, and you don't have to say, I only have 30 years, I will not. No, you try your best. You never know. The next meditation you do, Samadhi may be in that meditation. Sometimes I blackmail my students like that. You missed your practice? What if your Samadhi was there in that practice? Oops.
We'll never know.
You never know. This is exactly, Zivana, this is exactly why Krishna is saying, don't try to make all these concepts, try to understand somebody who's not in faith already. It will be too much headache for you. Slowly when they come, when they are open, sometimes you open up, okay, fine, tell me more. And you have an open perspective that times. You meet the student where the student is. This is very, very important for yoga teachers. You have to meet the student where the student is. Then when the student starts trusting you gently, take them by your hand and lead them. Lead them on the path that you have walked on before. Don't blindly lead them to some rabbit hole. Yeah, Alice in Wonderland went alone. You alone, you can go anywhere. Yeah. Alice in Wonderland, how did she go? She read a random label on a bottle. You will read random labels like this in random books, you will go around a rabbit hole.
And also the famous, the talk with the cat. Alice asked the cat, excuse me, where should I go? There were two ways. So he said, depends to get to. So she said, I don't care. So he said, okay,
Doesn't
you
matter.
may
She
go
didn't have
wherever you
personality.
want. As
Absolutely.
long as you go, you'll get somewhere.
Read Alice in Wonderland and watch Matrix.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
There is no spoon. There's a famous dialogue in Matrix. There is no spoon. You want to bend it, there is no spoon. So anyway, come back to Bhagavad Gita. This is clear? So, remember, life will always present you the bhoga. But you have to be clear about the yoga. I'm saying this again because don't blame anything. Don't blame. When you stop blaming things, you will feel very, very light. Nobody is stopping you except yourself. This clear? Simple. All this has huge practical value. Now comes a very important question. What compromises, or why is there a confusion within us?
Why there is confusion in us?
Why? What compromises your personal integrity?
That we are not capable of seeing Prakriti, how it moves, understanding that it changes, it mixes with it in a way.
Okay, who compromises your personal integrity?
People who are close to you to begin with.
We do.
I just said don't blame.
The duality.
When it's late, I mean, that's part of life.
The duality is not
yourself.
the mind.
Why? Why does it happen? Why do we see division everywhere?
Because we project whatever we have.
And what do we have here?
Education, things we learn.
Perceptions, mind,
Beliefs,
thoughts, concepts.
So now you're on the ego.
Survival mechanism.
We see division everywhere is because we are divided within ourselves. Try to understand this. We see division outside because there's a division within. And what is that division? What have we separated from?
Divine.
Bingo. We see separation out there because there is a separation in here. And the separation within is from our true self. This is a very important point to understand. Why it happened? Then now we have to open deep philosophical books. But
Comes back to the question again. Every time we learn it, we ask like, why? So why did we forget? Why did we forget, or why we came with this challenge?
when your house is on fire, will you run and try to extinguish the house or wonder why?
Yeah, but after you
Not after.
no.
Have you put water on your house?
Yes, we do.
Your house is burning right now. What is your immediate? What will you do immediately?
Yeah, all the time, but not all the time. The house is burning.
First extinguish. First finish the fire. Then the fire brigade will analyze how did the fire start. Right now, our house is on fire. Let us extinguish the fire first.
We have to know that our house is
We don't,
You all
We
know.
have to see that.
we don't smell the smoke.
If you were not smelling the smoke, you will not be here in the first row. Come on. You all know your house is on fire. You have come to collect water. Why the house is on fire? We'll analyze later. Right now, take water from me and extinguish the house.
But you know what's funny? We start because we feel like we're on fire, and then we start to collect water. We don't want to go back to the house with the water. We want to stay next to the spring water.
Correct. Actually, it's even more complicated. You know your house is on fire. You start going towards water, and in between you get a nice coffee shop. Right? And you sit in the coffee shop and you have coffee. Then you say, oh, there's a movie theater there. I will watch a movie. Huh? So you started your journey. Your house is on fire. You started your journey towards water. And for lifetimes, you got lost in the coffee shop, in the movie movie, popcorn.
It's funny,
Huh?
there is a Jewish story in Generation, El Shalet, that always he's sent with a mission, he always misses the mission because in the way he's wondering like, find something else. Always, you know, all jokes from all
Yeah, no,
centuries.
but you know, earlier times, storytelling was an important part of transferring wisdom. Like these little stories were told to the children.
Yeah.
And through the storytelling, all ancient cultures have a very strong mythological tradition. And that mythological tradition is nothing but passing down wisdom, spiritual wisdom, in story form to make it easily accessible. So the division that we see externally is only because we have separated from our true nature somewhere. And moksha or yoga is all about coming back to yourself.
She said like a spiritual ADD.
Yeah. Is this clear? Remember these. Remember these, no matter, and I know you will not forget because you are very sincere students, but don't drop that spiritual seed that you have within you. You are on the path, and as I told you, I'm sure, this is not the first time you are walking on the path. Your sincerity, your dedication says a lot about your focus. Keep walking on the path. Now, when we are separated, there is always a choice. What is right and what is wrong? Remember I told you about duality? Mm-hmm. And the choice is difficult. Why the choice is difficult?
Because there's no personal integrity.
There are many oppositions.
Why is the choice difficult? Because both sides look equally good.
Or bad.
Or bad, yeah. So what do you do? How do you deal? How will you deal with this inconsistency
Remember the
of
purpose
the world?
first.
You have to reflect, you have to get
Open line 22.
Wow.
Ah.
Ah.
Anityam asukham lokam, Krishna says. Chapter 9, verse 22.
It's tricky.
9:22.